Well, hi there, Art100 class. Welcome to Lesson 2, which is our lesson focused on art about love. This is just a quick overview to introduce you to your lesson and let you know what to expect. So you can see right here, maybe one of the most famous images about love. I didn't actually include this one in your lesson, but I just wanted to show it to you because I figure it's, floating around on the internet a lot. You've probably seen images of it, even if you've never been to Philadelphia. Just the word love, the letters here are so powerful on their own. The artwork doesn't need to be about anything else. I wanted to start with just introducing one of the artworks we'll talk about today. And let me erase myself here. There we go. This is one that is really moving to me personally. I've always really loved this, and I know it doesn't look like much. It's just two clocks. And the clocks work. They'll be there ticking when you look at this artwork. But when you know what it's about, I think you'll really love it too. So this is by Felix Gonzalez Torres. Let me show you a photo of him. Here he is with his cat. He unfortunately died pretty young, as you can see, in 1996. But this piece was actually about his lover's death. So his partner, whose name was Ross Laycock, I believe, was diagnosed with AIDS and knew that he wouldn't have really very much time at all, maybe only about a year, at the point when Felix Gonzalez Torres made this piece. So Gonzalez Torres is making this piece about love. You can see it's called Perfect Lovers, but it's also about loss and the potential loss of his partner Ross, because he knows that Ross isn't going to live much longer. When you think about being in love with somebody, in any way, not even necessarily romantic love, but even the love that you might have for a child or a parent or a very close friend, there is this kind of sadness that comes with it because you're on different paces. You know you're not going to always be going at the same pace in your life. Somebody's going to disappear first. The other person will have to deal with that. And so this notion of time being linked to love, that once you really love somebody, it's like you're two clocks trying to stay in sync. But as you know, with clocks, especially kind of cheap clocks like this, they're never going to be exactly right. So he hangs up these clocks, but over time, one of them starts going slower than the other. Eventually it will run out of batteries, but most of the time it's just a few minutes behind and then a few minutes more behind, and you start to see the clocks get out of sync. And it's like this very sad and very poignant metaphor for love, right? You're perfect lovers, you're two clocks, and yet one will inevitably go slower than the other, will stop working faster than the other. Felix Gonzalez Torres's work is often conceptual like this, where the idea or the kind of poetic meaning of it is what's key, and then he'll express that using sometimes everyday objects like these clocks. So that is one example of an artwork that I think gets us to think about love differently. You'll read more about it in your lesson this week. When I was writing about this for your lesson, I kept thinking about something completely different, the Taj Mahal, and I ended up putting this one in your lesson as well. It was this piece, the clock piece, that made me think about this one. I know that seems like a strange connection. This is this very beautiful marble piece of architecture. You've probably seen images of it. It's in India, in Uttar Pradesh, and it's from the 1600s. This is from the 1990s, so obviously it's a really big time difference. The reason this one made me think about this one, or, vice versa, this one made me think about this one, is because this piece, among other things, of course it's a beautiful work of architecture in its own right, but it's also an artwork that's about love. It was commissioned by this emperor, we see an image of him here, as a way to memorialize his wife who he'd lost. He had a lot of wives, as emperors tended to, I think something like 14 or 15, but she was the one who was really important to him. She was the one he felt really close to. And when she died, he went into this period of mourning that was really, really strong, and he was just very isolated thinking about her. And as that was happening, as he was mourning, he oversaw the construction of this. So this took many years to build, as you could imagine. But what it was a mausoleum for her. So she passed away, and then he oversaw the building of this giant, beautiful mausoleum. A mausoleum is like a type of tomb. Here inside are these very beautiful inlaid marble containers, and that's where their bodies would be kept. So his wife Mumtaz would be there first, and then her body would be waiting there until he passed away a few decades later, and then his body would join her. So they end up together ultimately. It kind of reminded me of these clocks going out of sync but then coming back into sync. So I'm not going to talk more about these right now because you'll read about them in your lesson, but I just wanted to give you a taste of some of the kinds of artworks and the range of artworks about love that we'll be looking at. There'll be paintings like this one about marriage or showing something like a marriage from the Renaissance. Or this one, which is very much a critique of marriage and the problems with marriage sometimes, from an artist who does satire called William Hogarth. We'll also look at images that are supposed to embody love, like this image that many people interpreted as being like a fertility goddess or a goddess of love. Or this one, which is kind of a take on a famous Renaissance painting by this wonderful painter Harmonia Gonzalez, where she's trying to get us to think about images of love and beauty and change the way that we see them in art history. So you can see that's a big range of artworks, and we'll look at more than that too. I think we'll look at about 11 total. So now that you have an overview, you can get started on the lesson. What you'll do is read the readings and watch the videos and take notes on them. So it'll just be like lesson 1, where you've got some stuff that I wrote, and then you'll see that there is videos and articles linked, and you should take notes on all of it. There's also a study guide to review. The study guide will tell you exactly what your quiz questions will be. So I recommend looking at it while you're doing your readings because it will help you focus your notes. Then you'll take your quiz, of course, after you've reviewed the study guide. And then you'll have an assignment to complete. This assignment, I hope, will be a fun one. You have 2 options. One of the options is that you can make your own artwork related to love that kind of is inspired by one of the pieces we studied. And the other one is about writing an essay about an artist that you're interested in. So you can see the instructions for that on the module in some more depth, but this is your overview for the lesson. And that is it. So good luck. Contact me if you have any troubles at all, and I hope you enjoy it. Have a good day.